Hello and welcome to DCG's development update. We are here with the platform, the core and the mobile teams to give you an update of what happened in the past 2 weeks. Am I live? I hope so. I don't get any feedback. Never mind. So we are planning this session for 60 to last 60 minutes, and we will have a dedicated Q&A session at the end. So please use the live chat below to and put a Q or a question prefix to the question, so we will know that you dedicating that question to the Q&A session. Without further ado, let's start with the platform team. Sam, would you kick us off?
Yeah, sure. Do we have the slides?
Yes.
Oh.
1 second.
Yeah, so the focus has been still on version 2.0 testing and Dashivo Tool improvements. I would say actually the narrower focus has been on group actions. Group actions, as we'll talk about further on, are basically our equivalent of multi-sig, but stateful multi-sig. So, for example, you can, in your contract, set a group with different identities. You can say this action, like minting a token, requires 5 out of 7 participants or something like that. And if 5 out of 7 authorize the action, then it goes through. Basically, that's how group actions work. So we've been working heavily on that, fixing issues, and we'll go into it right now. So basically, before we talk about that, let me first talk about like what's left in 2.0, because it's been taking quite a lot to test. It's not just that it was taking a lot to test. It was that there were parts that were not working. There were parts that, there were just the amount of features in 2.0 is actually quite high. There are more state transitions than in version 1. And because of all of this, even if the basic stuff was working, there were so many different scenarios of things to test. And once we got to them, we realized, okay, that's not working as intended. That's not working as intended. There are ways to get around that security. I mean, there were security vulnerabilities. Anyway, so we've been going through all of this and fixing tons of things. So group actions currently probably good enough for testnet. Group action proofs, most of it has been tested, not all of it. So we have to finish testing there. So like, for example, why do I differentiate the two between group actions and group action proofs? So like the group action could actually go through, but you would get back a proof that was incorrect, right? You would be asking, for example, like, did I sign this document? Did I sign? And it would give you back a proof that the action didn't happen. Only did not actually give you a proof that you signed or the situation of the group action. So now currently what's supposed to happen is, for example, you say, I'm signing this. So somebody wants to, for example, freeze an identity. As that's one of the things that you could do. Or maybe let's not talk about freezing. Let's talk about configuration update. So they want to update the token configuration to change the name of the token in Spanish because there was a misspelling, let's say. So it requires 3 out of 5 people. If you are the third person or the second person, you say, I've done this, you get back a proof that you signed. And you also get back a proof of how much of the current power has been set. So let's say it requires a total power of 9 votes, but you've only got into 7 voting power, then it will tell you that, and then you can you'll have basically more information being proved in the response. We've never actually done proofs that complicated before, so that's pretty cool. So then token distributions. So yeah, a lot of the more simple token distributions have been fully tested. Some of the more complicated ones have not yet been tested. They might work, but we just haven't gotten around to it yet. Configuration update. It's good enough for testnet. Keywords. I think it's good enough for testnet. But then Paul, you told me maybe that there was some issue you found.
I think it's just Dashivo Tool side.
Oh, okay. Token configurations, good enough for testnet as well. And then the last big one that we need to test is documents paid for with tokens. That's a big feature, and it's not been tested at all. So once we get all of this tested, like at 100%, then we're gonna head to testnet and ask community members and a lot more people to come in and test it to make sure that there's that there's just nothing wrong and that we have a very clean rollout. Yeah, so what has happened? Yeah, so I'll just give these are some of the tasks that we did. It's not very fun, but to talk about in terms of quality improvements and fixes. One thing that you could do, the first one is you could start off a group action, and then you could like the second user could modify it. For example, you could say, "Oh, I'd like to mint 100 tokens, but it requires these other people to agree." They could come in and they could actually, the last person in the list could say, "Oh, it's not 100 tokens; it's 400 tokens." It would actually mint 400 instead of the original 100. So that's now fixed. What is this? Correct group action query target as tree in stasis. Oh yeah, that's not very important. Validate group required power to prevent invalid configurations. What did I do there? I don't. I wrote these are various things that I worked on, but it's been some in the last 2 weeks and pretty deep into it, so sometimes I forget what they mean. Ensure correct public. Oh yeah, so ensure correct public node proof verification. Some stuff about notes that's now in. If you had like group actions and one person wrote a note saying like, "Oh, this is a great group action," and the second person said another note, it would actually only put into the historical contract, basically in the proof at the end of the thing happening. It would put only the last note, and it actually is supposed to put the first note that you write. There's only supposed to be one note, and it's the one that's proposing the event. So that's now been all taken care of, and now notes are working perfectly. Yeah, let's just move on. These are not very interesting. So yeah, basically a lot of stuff inside of tokens was supposed to be using a critical level security key by design. And I found out that we were actually allowing things to be signed by critical and high level security and medium level security keys. So fix that. Now it's only critical level keys because all the token actions are actually critical level. Like if you transfer tokens, that's according to the DIP on what it means to what it means to have like the critical level key. Critical level generally means like loss of funds if the key is compromised. So if you lose all your tokens, we consider that a loss of funds. Yeah, we had a problem with the minting destination. on token mint. That's now all fixed. We had something where group identities didn't have to actually exist. So in your token configuration, you could say that this group has these members, but the members were just identity IDs, but they didn't actually exist in the system. So now we ensure that they all exist to prevent, well, there's nothing really wrong that could have happened, but it kind of prevents user error when they're registering the contract. Same thing for all reference identities in the token configuration. So for example, if you say this identity can mint, but maybe that identity didn't exist. So now it's all fixed. Now everything that's inside the contract, all the identities referenced, all are verified to exist. We also were able before to mint 0 tokens. You could send a state transition that said, I'd like to mint 0 tokens. We were validating only that the upper bound, that you couldn't mint too much, but and we were validating that you couldn't mint negative, but nothing for 0. So it doesn't really make sense to mint 0 tokens. So we removed that ability. Okay, let's continue on. Add group action proof verification. Yes, so that was a big amount of work around the proof verification of group actions. It actually is a combination proof of historical document, signer information, and signer information, historical document, and actually like the effect of the action. So for example, if you were to have a token balance increase or decrease, it would give you the token balance, it would give you the signing, it would give you the document that if historical documents are enabled for the token in the token config. So yeah, it works great. That's what really matters. The system has now proved that the group actions succeed or don't succeed. And what's really cool here is that work on combination of proofs was something that I worked on like 2 years ago, was somewhat used, but not used to this extent. And just seeing that everything is working right now is very, it's very happy about that. Add fees for data contract creation and update. I think this will interest people. Basically, data contracts were extremely cheap in the system. Tokens were extremely cheap in the system. And when you're registering your contract or when you're registering your token, like if I was making a token, let's say a stable coin or something, I wouldn't mind paying $5 for that. I would mind that my users were paying $5 each time they were transferring or something like that. But registering of the token, I believe, shouldn't be so cheap, because we don't really want to spam our system with millions of low quality tokens. Instead, we want we want a high number of tokens, but we don't want it to be ridiculous to the extent where somebody just presses a button and registers a million new tokens. We don't want it that cheap. So we found we added a slightly higher cost for registering a token. It's right now about it would be about $5 to register a token. Which it depends actually on how many keywords you have, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It could, if you put like 10 keywords, it could go up to $1 to register your token contract. But, I think that somebody who's been working hard on getting their token out there spent like multiple weeks. I don't really believe that they will have a problem with such fees. One thing where our fees are extremely, extremely, extremely low is where we basically, like a transfer, for example. I think our transfer fees are probably one of the lowest in the industry. So most of the actions that the users will actually take, the users of the people that make of the users of the token, that will be extremely cheap. Okay. Localization validation. Oh yeah, so right now you could put any localization in there, like so for your token name, normally like a very common name localization is, for example, for English en, or for French fr, pretty common. Also for Chinese, you have ZH, I think. But for example, for Chinese from Taiwan, which uses a different character set, I think it's ZH dash TW, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. But the point is that there's like, you shouldn't be able to put in Bob, or maybe not Bob, or like you shouldn't be able to put in I went to the park tonight for the name, for the localization name, right? It should match kind of like a normal localization format. So that's now been validated. The last two, not very interesting. Okay, let's move forward. Yes, so in Dashivo Tool, Sam's work. Yes, so just additional stuff like trying to get the Dashivo tool working more nicely. Nothing, like mostly just small UI improvements here. I think that what's going to be more interesting is that we show demo, because let's just do that.
Okay.
Paul, you want to
Okay.
you want to talk about your slides and then show a demo?
Yes, sounds good. Thank you, Sam. So, in addition to some work on platform and tokens, I did a lot of work on Dashivo Tool this sprint. I added a screen for token config updates. So basically, it's a state transition where you can basically just edit a token. We'll show a demo of that. Like, for example, you can change the max supply if it's allowed, or change distribution rules, stuff like that. I added fields in all of the token token action screens for a public note. So like any time you do a mint or something, or what else? I think mint, maybe transfer. Yeah, transfer has a few different note fields. Basically, like you can attach a public note to it. We added a dev mode to Dashivo Tool. So like basically we can use Dashivo Tool internally to like test stuff that we don't want regular users to see, like signing transactions with the wrong key or something. So we added that. We added an active group action screen. So you can, we kind of just finished this, and I think we're going to redesign it because it's a little bit unintuitive, but basically you can go to this screen and like select an identity and a contract and find out like what group actions are currently occurring for this contract. So like maybe somebody started a mint and it requires other signers to sign it. you can go to this screen and like find out if you need to sign anything and whatnot. Yeah, so we'll demo this, and yeah, spent a little bit of time fixing a lot of issues from Lukasz's great QA work that he's been doing. Okay, I'll share my screen. All right, so here we are in the token screen, and I have this token I named OK, just because that was a fast thing for me to type. And so here, if we go to Mint, you can now see we have this note saying this is a group action, because in this token, if you want to mint, you need basically a total required power of 2. And this identity only has a power of 1. So we need the other group member to sign it, basically. So it's just like a warning, kind of, to let you know. So let's say we'll mint 10. And I can add a public note now because Sam fixed that today. Hello. And we'll hit initiate group mint. Confirm. Oh, change my key. This key was security level high. It needs to be critical. So yes, confirm. Mint. Okay, I need to change this to say mint initiated, but yes, mint was initiated, we can assume. Now, in the future, Lukasz had a good idea today when he was doing QA. We're going to just put it on this mint screen. Like if there are active group mints, we're just going to display it here. And I think that makes better sense than what we did for like a first draft, which is going to the contract screen, because group actions are contract things. Like you can do group actions for documents as well as tokens. That was my reasoning for putting it here. But yeah, we have a group actions button at the top right now. So if we select this contract and this identity, so I think this one initiated it. So this one needs to sign it. Pretty sure. Fetch group actions. Yeah. Okay, so we have this one. Mint 10 to this guy. Hello. So we'll take action, make sure the key is right. And yeah, basically sign it. And now, I should have shown before that this guy's balance was 1020. And it didn't go up to 1030 until after the second identity signed it. So yeah, group actions are working, and it's working well. So I think that's all. Is there anything else, Sam?
Config update, right? We never showed that.
Oh yeah. Okay, so update config is a new screen we have here. Let's see. Okay. So basically you can go to this drop down and you can change, I think, any of the fields in a token as long as the rules allow it. So let's say here, let me check right now. What's this max supply? No max supply. Okay. So let me update config, update max supply.
Have we ever even tried this ourselves?
I have, yeah.
Oh, you have? Okay, cool.
Not as a group action though. So this is live testing.
This is live testing. Let's see if it works.
I have a PR, by the way, to make this automatically go to critical.
Yeah.
Getting that. Okay. Group actions. This one. Config update. Cool. Take action. This one is a little more complicated. You have to still fill out, as of now, you still have to fill this out. Oh, what did I do? It's 100 million, right?
Well, actually, try putting a different one just to see if it works. Gives you an
Okay.
error.
1 billion. Oh, we may have found a bug.
Error broadcasting update is not authorized to perform action. Are you? Well, that's
Or
interesting.
it could be you added some error messages. Maybe it's the wrong error message.
Did you use? Are we using the latest SDK right now?
Yeah.
It should try a million instead of a billion, or like try the correct amount.
Same.
So it says you're not authorized to do this action. Config update, but the authorized action show the contract actually.
Contract owner. Max supply change rules.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah,
Uh,
it's the contract owner is the one allowed. I wonder
okay.
why. So I think platform actually is correct here. But why did it show as a group action? Is the question when you wanted to change the max supply.
Because
So let's get back to it
yeah.
later.
Because
Anything else you would like to show?
no.
Well, I mean, can you do it without a group action? Can you update the thing without a group action, or is it set as a group action right now, like a config
I
update?
think it's because config update is set as group action, but max supply is not.
Okay, well, anyways, so people can see this is what we deal with a lot. We go in and try to find issues. I think this one. I don't know if this one actually is a platform issue though, but we'll see. Okay, cool. Did we have anything else to demo there? In the token creator, I think there's some changes, right? As well.
I think you
Yeah.
showed all this.
No, we didn't even have the plural last time, so that we have the plural now for the token name.
I think
I don't
that's
know if
all.
we have the searchable last time as well. No, we didn't have the searchable. So now if you want your token name to be searchable in the keywords, so for example, you name your token SETI token, and you want when you type in SETI to have the token come up in the search, then you just tick the searchable. That's basically it. Cool. Cool.
All right, thank you very much
Thank
for the demo.
you.
Let's continue with the core team and pasta.
All right. Sounds good. So, um, extended addresses got some solid progress. We got a PR merged in this last set that did some important adjustments and refactoring to basically reworks how we're like storing internally the addresses. So we now at like a low level have the ability to store varying types, but this will obviously then be expanded in later PRs. So one was merged in, we've got another one up ready in review right now. So solid progress is being done there. Platform proof of service banning via proof of service banning initiated via platform is basically done. We are going through and testing this now, so it's been kind of in review slash testing for this last time period. Everything looks good with it. We need to figure out a good testing plan with platform at some point and get them integrated, but this will very likely get merged in the relatively near future unless some issues are found there. So um, depending on some timeline stuff as to when platform wants to start using it and implement proof of service. We could see this released in a 22.2, or it could wait for version 23. So we'll see. Constantine worked on some indexing performance improvements. He was able to find about 5 to 7% performance improvements so far when syncing the blockchain. So that is very cool. We are also we opened up a DIPS PR and are kind of in review for increasing the credit pool withdrawals from 2,000 per day up to 4,000 per day. Since V23 will already include a hard fork with the extended addresses or extensible addresses in the DML, it feels like it makes sense to bump up from 2,000 to 4,000. This will likely be after V2 platform has been deployed for a little while, right? V23 is still a good solid couple of months out from being released. But this would be included in a final V23 release, or at least, that's what kind of we're proposing. We have seen some days get pretty close to the limit, and there's no amazing reason at this point to keep it at a reduced amount. So yeah, to me, it makes sense to increase this with the next hard fork. If we don't, then it might be another year until we reasonably can increase it again. And I just don't want to be kind of stuck in that situation where we are trying to force in a hard fork to increase the withdrawals because we see a lot more usage. I would like to be a little bit more proactive with making sure that we are staying ahead of usage while still keeping safety in mind. So descriptor wallet support is also being worked on. That's another thing Constantine's been working on, but that's pretty much a wrap on that slide. We can move on to the next one. Backports, as with every set of 2 weeks, I mean, you'll see it on the next slide with the list of PRs. Backports remain a solid chunk of work that is being done, and you can kind of compare and see the progress here. V23 is basically done, and V24 and beyond are getting solid progress. So on the next slide, we can see the PRs merged in and a little over one a day. A good chunk of backports, a good chunk of performance improvements, good chunk of changes related to extensible addresses. So, yeah, I think that's a wrap, and we can move on to mobile.
Thank you, Pasta. All right, so on Android, we had a pretty heavy sprint mix between Dash Pay and Dash Spend. So Dash Pay, we finished at least the first portion of the customized shortcut bar, so you can choose whatever features you want to have on that shortcut bar. This was kind of particularly valuable now that we've got so many different features with usernames, contacts, and Dash Spend. There's just so many different features that everybody uses them differently. So I think that'll be a well welcomed feature. Large CoinJoin wallet issues that most likely will go out on our next release that we have for Dash Spend to the store, 11.2.2. Save historical metadata, just the UI part was done, working on the backend part now. And then receive invitations changes part 2, which was mostly the onboarding kind of flow. That's ran into a lot of unexpected bugs, so that's taken a bit longer still than planned. UI issues on registered users, that also probably will likely go out in our 11.2.2 version in the coming days. And yeah, Dash Spend, we made a bunch of fixes and improvements there in preparation for the publication to the store. In the filter, you can now filter by different types of merchants, like fixed denominated, where you can only spend like $10, $20, $30 kind of increments versus exact or specific amounts. You can sort by the discount amount as well. The other Dashbin item was a evaluation of a new partner, Piggy Cards, looking at their API to see how that can fit into our current feature set. Just a different provider, different discounts, basically different merchant coverage. And we had to change the way we generated the barcode on Dashbin as well. It wasn't always getting scanned correctly at the physical point of sale. The merchant info screen was missing, so describing the differences between the different types of merchants, and the support for fixed denominated gift cards. So on our first betas, we didn't support fixed denominated gift cards. It was only very where you could specify an exact amount. And that was identified actually pretty early. Someone tried to do a purchase on one that was in the database, and we didn't know it was there. So that was removed. They've been out of the location data since we discovered that, but now it will be supported, and we'll get some new merchants into the app because of that. We're in the progress of doing our final testing on 11.2.2, so that's going to be the first. Although Dashbin is available publicly to everybody via a link, this will put it into the Play Store so that everybody will get it. So essentially moving out of beta into live. That's it on Android. On iOS, we have some of those previous integrations into DashSync being reviewed. There were some crash fixes that are still in testing. Some are in testing, some are in progress to be fixed. The private memo, the UI portion of that on DashPay was done. And that's close to one of the last things that we need on the DashPay front to be ready on the UI. So as soon as everything is stable on DashPay, from a feature perspective, we should be mostly aligned with Android on the UI side. We still will most likely be releasing an MVP without voting, potentially without contested usernames, just so we can get something out there sooner rather than later. But we're still a bit blocked on even just the registration of users. So that's our main focus right now is being able to reliably create a username. On the Dash wallet, just regular sustainment stuff. We had a sync issue with unhandled transactions, and then some of the things identified actually by the Apple Store with our libraries that we needed to fix. So nothing too exciting there. So that's the update on iOS.
All right, thank you very much. Let's move on to the questions. We have 3 questions in the chat. The first one. Sam, feel free to jump in. Using tokens to pay for documents, how does that work? Are tokens converted to credit somehow?
No, sorry. It's not paying for the gas fees. It's paying for the document. So you could say that you can create like an app that says creation of this document requires 5 tokens. There can be internal tokens and external tokens as well. They don't have to be, actually, no, I think it's only internal tokens. I'm not sure. I think it's internal tokens for your contract, but you can, we have 2 features actually that sometimes I get confused about. One is you can, yeah, sorry, I forgot to turn on my video. One is that you can buy and sell documents with tokens. So you can purchase things with tokens. And then the other one is that, for example, you can set your contract to saying, like, if a document were to be registered, the user needs to spend tokens as well as the gas fees. Why would you do that? Let's imagine you're an amusement park and you have tickets that come in. Now you can sell your tickets to the amusement park just as a token, right? So people can buy like entrances to the park, and then to be actually able to enter the park, they have to register the token to their name, and that's the creation of the NFT that basically transforms the token into the NFT that allows them entrance to the amusement park. Stuff like that. So you can do like really cool and pretty advanced things with having a token cost associated to your documents. Like other options are maybe you have a, let's see, that's an easy one to think about for document creation. But you could also have a game maybe where you have an in-game currency for your various items, so you can maybe buy and sell like uh, enchanted swords, right? And there's like a gold cost in your game, and the gold cost has the token, right? So there's an association between the item, which is like the enchanted sword, which is kind of like a dot, which can be represented as an NFT document, and the in-game currency of your token, the gold, right? So there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do already in 2.0. I hope people will be able. I hope people will be able to figure it out, because once we release, I think we're gonna have to spend some time on like making sure tutorials are pretty well put in place so people can use all the advanced features.
All right, thank you. Next question from Question. I noticed Shumkov has been removed on his own request. As a fellow owner on platform GitHub repository, and Sam now just self-review his pull requests. Is it something temporary?
Hopefully. So here's the situation. Ivan well, quit basically a few weeks ago, and while it would be possible to get Lukasz and Paul to review the pull requests, the amount of time would increase dramatically. In terms of like our speed of delivery. We do have an AI running in the background that reviews things. So basically what I do is the AI tells me, oh, there might be a problem here, there might be a problem there. And then on top of that, I self-review. Yeah, it's a question of, do we want to go faster, or do we want to go slower but maybe catch more things? And right now, I like going faster. We'll see if it's a bad thing, right? We'll see how stable things are in 2.0. And if it's like very unstable, then I made a mistake. But I believe it's going to be quite stable, especially with the amount of testing that we've done.
All right, thank you very much. The last question, when might the documentation for all this?
So there is
documentation for all of this.
So there is documentation already made by the Fez, right? So like if you go in, let me find it, to I need to find where he wrote. It was forget where it's put. Yeah, so basically, if you go into our Dash documentation, I just don't remember how you get to the token area of the documentation. I think it's like some more advanced part. But yeah, we've written documentation, and when we release, we should have documentation covering all of the features that we've been working on. Actually, you don't know Balash by any chance, do you? Oh yeah. So here I found it. So projects, platform, English latest, docs, explanation, tokens. So we have, yeah. So I don't know. Do you have access to the YouTube to post this link?
Yeah.
I'll send it to you. So that's kind of the start of.
We might not be able to post links in the chat, but I try.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's basically, you can read a lot about the different features right now. So the Fez is going pretty, he's started making a lot of information there.
So it doesn't show up in the chat. I'm sure there are some spam related rules or setup that are filtering this out. But I can put it in Discord.
I just put it in Discord as well.
All right. All right. Thanks for being here. We have no further questions. Thanks for being here, for the comments and the feedbacks, and see you in 2 weeks.
Take care, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.